The more things change, the more they stay the absolute same, okay? We are dealing with the Pokemon TCG space. We're dealing with a hobby environment, which means things move in cycles and seasons. We've got ups, we've got downs, we've got lefts, rights, and everything in between. But this is cyclical. This is seasonal. We can see patterns from the past to today. And just because we just came through, and maybe you're still in the greatest bull market of all time, it does not mean that we won't see similar cycles coming in the future. It doesn't mean that this one moment of absolute hype changes everything. But on the other hand, maybe it does. And maybe this video is completely wrong, but I believe we are about to see the next crown Zenith hit the market. And this is happening a lot quicker than maybe I thought it would. I want to talk about it. But the market, the hobby is in a very crazy, interesting space. And I think that the market's been on thin ice for a while. And seeing what's happening with the Phantasmal Flames UPC is absolutely spectacular for me, at least, okay? This box, man, came out the gate swinging. And listen, it has absolutely tanked. Are we in a crash? Not yet, but I think that we could see crash-like behavior, a larger correction happen in the future. Let's go ahead and talk about it. I want to primarily focus on the idea that Ascended Heroes is the next crown Zenith and what that possibly means for the hobby. And I want to talk a little bit about the Charizard UPC that just released, because there's some interesting similarities between that and another Charizard UPC that we've seen in the past. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt with RARTCG. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below. This is an open environment. We can have diverse opinions and perspectives in the comment section. So even if you are a hyper bull and you think everything's gonna run back to all-time highs, let me know why down below. Let me know your thoughts toward the Charizard UPC. Let me know your thoughts towards Ascended Heroes and my thoughts towards relating it to Crown Zenith. I honestly can't wait to hear your opinions, even if they are different than mine down below. Also, if you dislike the video, as always, dislike the video. Like, hit that down vote button. That is okay. I really appreciate it, guys. Let's go ahead and dive into it. I want to touch on the Charizard UPC. Look at this graph. Wow, it's going down. It's crazy. Can you imagine how people feel right now that bought it at 300? I kind of, fingers crossed those people just bought it so they could have it day one or around the time of release, and they have already opened it and enjoyed it. A lot of those people probably were also chasing, maybe getting the first graded copies of the promos. And of course, there's some money to be had there first to market all of that. But listen, this is such an interesting situation, especially as you compare it to the previous Charizard UPC that came out. Very similar behavior. Remember, that previous Charizard UPC was available for a very long time, at below MSRP, okay? I think that this UPC right here has a lot further it could go down. And so if you're still not comfortable buying in the 170, 180 range, which is about $50, $60 above MSRP before taxes, then I would give it some time, see what happens, and don't worry about missing out. If you really, if you are a sealed collector or an investor, so to speak, and you want this in your collection, then of course right now the price at 170 to 180 is a much more attractive price than what it was at 300, 250 and all of that. So if you want to get one for a long-term hold or to put, kind of behind you in a sealed collection, go for it. You can spend your money however you want to. This is just one man's opinions and perspective on the market. And it's not always going to be right, but listen, this is so eerily similar. You cannot deny that there are some similar plots on the graph, right? Some similar data points going on. For me personally, I'm sitting back, I'm observing, I'm watching and learning, honestly. This is my first ever hype cycle into whatever comes next, kind of real, I haven't been here for another one. So this is my first one. I'm taking things extremely slow, but don't get it twisted. I'm a reseller. I have an online business. I am doing rip and ships. I'm selling sealed product on my website. I'm selling singles on TCG Player. I've got over 3,000 sales there. I am actively buying and selling all of the time. I think I hear Dan from Catch 'em All Collectibles talk about this all the time. Dan is notoriously known to sit on the fence. He's got some more bearish takes. He's got some more bullish takes. But at the end of the day, he always reminds people hey, he is probably one of the he's one of the bigger movers and shakers happening right now with his operation, his business, and what he's doing in the market. So just because somebody has a more bearish or, a more crash-like sentimentality towards the hobby doesn't mean that they're not actively involved in it, okay? I buy and sell at a percentage of market, and then I sell at market all of the time. Like, that is the game, okay? And I do that so that I can grow my business and so that I can achieve my goals that I have. But it's also not going to stop me from looking at the hobby as a whole and saying, hey, something interesting is happening right now. And me as a business owner and me as a collector and as someone that's in the hobby, I need to take note of that, and I need to be aware of that when it comes to my decision making moving forward. So this Charizard UPC I think is so interesting. But the main meat of this video is going to be talking about Ascended Heroes and relating that to Crown Zenith. I want to share some stats. The data is the data, and I have a note card, but I'll also throw up some stuff on the screen too. So what I've done here is I've taken a PokeBeach article that released the number of rarities that we're going to get from Ascended Heroes. I'm going to throw it up right there. And I want us to look at this. And then what I did is I asked ChatGPT to create a similar list for Crown Zenith. Because as I've been looking at Ascended Heroes, I'm like, man, this set feels so similar to Crown Zenith. And I think that that is telling. Like, this is so interesting. Okay, let's go into it. We're going to start with Ascended Heroes, okay? And then we're going to compare that to Crown Zenith. Ascended Heroes is going to have, reported by PokeBeach, is going to have 22 SIRs. Insane. That's exciting. It's going to have 14 ultra rarity cards. So, you could think of this, a hyper rare is typically our gold card. Our ultra rare cards are typically our more full art cards. So it's going to include your full art trainers, full art Pokemon. So there's going to be around 14 of those. And there's going to be 7 mega attack rares. These are going to be those more comic book style that we have seen in the recent UPC drop. There's going to be more Pokemon featured here. And then we've got 33 IRs. This is stinking, dude. 55 total IR and SIR combinations. That's crazy. The hit rates, it's going to be wild. So all in all, that's 76 what I would call top hits, high-end hits. Now you could, if you wanted to remove the 14 ultra rares and move that back down to the lower tier, you can do that, but I still count those as a little bit higher because they are a little bit more rare and a little bit more exciting to pull than your standard EXs and things like that. So talking about our standard EXs, we've got 6 Terra Pokemon. For all the haters and naysayers out there about the hats, we're getting them back, man. We've got 6 more Terra EX coming. Are those going to be, listen, specialty sets in the Pokemon TCG are typically printed as a way to reprint playable cards, make them more accessible to players. So are these going to be things like your Gardevoir EX? Are we going to see another Mew EX reprint? I don't know. That one's maybe a little bit more far-fetched, but things like Zoroark, and it's just going to be interesting. I don't know if they would put an Zoroark in the Ascended Heroes, but that card was seeing play. I'm just thinking about playable, Dragapult EX, things like that. It's going to be interesting to see what terrestrialized EXs they pick. So I didn't even do a good job of picking terrestrialized Pokemon in my explanation. Maybe we're going to see a terrestrialized Charizard EX, for example. Okay, we're going to leave it there. I think a lot of the EXs I just mentioned are not terrestrialized. I'm curious though about that. We're going to see 20 EX Pokemon. So these are just your standard EX Pokemon. These can be more so like the Mews, the Gardevoirs, the Zoroark, whatever. Dude, I don't know what they're going to be yet. And then we got 13 Mega EXs. So some of these may be reprints, some of these may be the newer Pokemon found in this set. It's going to be interesting because we've only had 2 other Mega sets out. So do we really need reprints of the newer Mega EXs? It's just going to be interesting. But we did see Mew EX get printed a lot early on in Scarlet and Violet, just for that restart ability and everything in the TCG. If you guys don't play the card game, highly recommend it if you're going to be engaging, especially on the more bulk end of reselling and getting involved in the hobby that way. That's primarily going to be your customer as the player, and some, obviously some collectors looking for master sets and stuff like that. But the more you can know a little bit about the game and what's meta and what's working and what's not working, it's going to help you out a little bit, okay? So all in all, for EXs, I would say the lower tier of hits, just your standard hits you find in most packs, we're going to see about 39 different hits. This is so interesting and so eerily close to Crown Zenith. Okay, let's talk about Crown Zenith now. Maybe I'll show the little Gemini, AI synopsis here, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. If AI missed something here, let us know. So secret rares. In the main set, we have one secret rare, but altogether in all of Crown Zenith, because remember, Crown Zenith has the subset of the Galarian Gallery, we've got 5 secret rares. The Galarian Gallery has the 66 cards. If you add the secret rares on top of that, it's got 70 total cards in the Galarian Gallery. And then we've got 43 ultra rare cards altogether in Crown Zenith. So basically, what I'm saying here, we're going to combine this together. So if we look at our top end hits, if we count only the secret rares in the Galarian Gallery hits, we've got 71 cards. You compare that to our higher end hits for Ascended Heroes, we've got 76, very similar number there. And then you have our EXs, which was 39 total kind of lower tier hits in Ascended Heroes. You compare that to our ultra rare hit placement in Crown Zenith, which would be the lower hits. Whoa! Lower tier hits is going to be 43. Holy cow, I don't edit my videos. Guys, don't give me too much stuff about that one, okay? 43 cards compared to that. 43 cards in Crown Zenith compared to our 39 cards in Ascended Heroes. These numbers are very similar, and what I think is more important than just similar numbers is the fact that this set is really primed to be printed into the ground. I know that that's a meme, okay? Don't come at me in the comments. Don't come at me, guys. I really do think this set is primed to be printed into the ground very similarly as we saw Crown Zenith. And what's also very curious about this, I think a non-TCG and some other content creators have commented on the release kind of cadence of Ascended Heroes. Ascended Heroes has a very interesting and unique release cadence. It's kind of, it's waved, but in products, okay? This isn't like we're getting wave 1 of all the SKUs and products and then there's gonna be wave 2, kind of like what we've seen with our recent mega releases. No, this is gonna be like, hey, we're getting our 3-pack blisters in wave 1. Then wave 2 is going to be, however many weeks later, and it's going to be the ETBs. And then wave 3 is going to be the 10s. And then wave 4, I'm just making up stuff, but I'm just saying that that's how it's typically going to go. A non-TCG put out a really great video, a head scratcher video talking about why is Pokemon addressing and approaching things this way. Is it so that they can maybe focus printing towards specific kind of SKUs and items and products while they're also releasing this waved release of Ascended Heroes? But listen, I personally think that with the current state of the hobby, with the current state of consumer sentiment kind of, I want to say lessening. Obviously, we're still seeing very high sell-through volume on TCG Player. But I would say that overall, a lot of shops, a lot of online sellers have seen a reduction in sales recently. Now, this could all be circumstantial. Like everyone in the hobby, everyone that buys on TCG Player could be holding off for the Black Friday sale. I am recording this a week before. So this is the Sunday before Black Friday, just to timestamp this video. So if you watch this video and you're like, this guy is full of it, he's a joker, he's a clown, he needs to go touch some grass, then I encourage you, come this time next week, come back and let me know in the comment section. If you don't want to type everything out, just put a clown emoji there. I'll know what it means, guys. Don't worry. I'm honestly okay with being wrong. I want to share my thoughts and opinions because I think we're seeing some very interesting things in the hobby. I want to document my thought process and I want to document kind of my perspective because I want to come back and view these videos. I want to come back and review my thoughts when the next cycle begins. And more than that, when the next hype cycle begins after that, I want to remember my thought process during this time. I want to grow, adapt, and learn from those things. So Crown Zenith was a banger of a set. We've also seen Crown Zenith appreciate so much in value. Just recently in the last year, Crown Zenith's done gangbusters, which is absolutely awesome. But remember, Crown Zenith was readily available for a long time. I saw Crown Zenith ETBs whenever I was getting into the, like in stores, whenever I was getting back into the hobby around the time 151 was releasing and everything like that. And, that's just it's kind of wild to continue to see Crown Zenith product released even into the hype cycle. Remember, when we started this with Terrestrial Festival, Surging Sparks, going into Prismatic Evolutions, like there were still readily available drops from Crown Zenith on Sam's Club, the Sea and Sky boxes. Like this set was printed so much. And I know people meme on printed to the ground. I don't think that's ever Pokemon's intention, but when Pokemon has a situation where demand is so high, they're going to pivot and adjust to that, and they're going to provide product so they can maximize their profits, okay? They are a business and they are in the game and business of making money. Of course, they want to do a good job with their TCG. Of course, they want to manage supply and demand as best as they can. But listen, when demand surges during Surging Sparks, I love the fact that that's like a joke. Anyways, when we see a hype cycle begin, a company, a worldwide company managing the TCG of the largest, most impactful, most favoritist IP in the world cannot pivot printing on a dime. Okay, this is stuff that takes planning, time, it takes money, it takes shifting things, scheduling things a specific way. And those of you calling Pokemon's bluff, I think that's crazy. I think they've proved time and time again that they absolutely can and will pivot and adjust to demand. And I think that this cycle of how the secondary market demand can move quicker, sentiment, behavior, purchasing behavior moves a lot faster than a large mega corporation can in their printing. And so there's this song and dance, and I think that partly helps define and dictate cycles in the hobby space. So at the end of the day, I think that Mega Evolutions and Phantasmal Flames releasing the way they did is very curious. Phantasmal Flames being a smaller Charizard set going into the holidays. We've seen it printed really well. We've seen prices come down and correct. The booster boxes, everything are much more readily available, much more at a better price than we've seen a lot of other boxes at. And I think that that's only going to continue to correct. Now, I know, guys, we're towards the end of the video. So those of you that are still hanging out, thank you for being here. I know that Rudy just released a video, and his video is much more bullish, okay? I love Rudy's videos. I think that he's probably got the most experience in the game, so I don't take what he says lightly. I think that what he said was basically that he believes that some consumer consumer behavior and everything is going to go upwards after kind of Black Friday going into the holidays. And he really believes that could cause another surge in the market. Will that happen? I don't know, but I really do take I take his perspectives and thoughts really seriously, as I think all of us should that participate in consuming this content online. But me personally, I think that we're at a very unique spot because honestly, the UPC dropping down to the 170s, 180s, dude, like secondary market sellers who have to also pay a 15 to 20% fee on top of that on TCG Player, they are making basically no margin, okay? You have to take that into consideration, okay? Because you take almost 20% off of $180, you're taking about $35 to $38 right there. My math is so bad. You're taking around $35 off of a $175, sell. What is that at? Dude, you are literally at $140 for something they paid $120 plus tax for. Guys, if you're watching this and you're a professional scalper, hit me up in a DM on Instagram. I'd love to interview you. We can black out your face. I'll drop your voice. No one will know who you are. But you have to give receipts. I have to know you're actually a scalper and you've done this for a while. Like, how do you feel right now? Like, can you imagine these people that deployed thousands of dollars to secure, they worked with managers, they have inside connections with people, they worked all these different avenues to get all this product, and now they're selling it for like maybe 10% profit, maybe. I'd love to hear from you. If that actually if one of you guys reach out to me and we can verify that, that'd be so funny to actually do a little interview. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do think that Ascended Heroes is probably going to be the next Crown Zenith, meaning that it's a very hard-hitting set with a ton of great hits, and I think that it's primed to be printed a ton for the for a prolonged period. I can't wait to see the SIRs. I can't wait to see the mega mega attack rares. Like, I can't wait to see all of these beautiful, amazing cards in the set. And I can't wait to open some, and I hope it's affordable for people. No, Ascended Heroes is not coming out in the holiday season. It's coming out afterwards, after people have spent their money, but maybe in a window where like a lot of us have received maybe gifts, gift cards and things like that, to where we can deploy capital towards a Pokemon set. So maybe there's some residual there, that can really help bolster the set and really have high sell-through volume there. It's just going to be very, very interesting. I think the next couple months are going to define a lot. A lot of you guys have been calling Pokemon's bluff. A lot of people believe they're not going to print any more booster boxes. I'm just calling cap, man. Pokemon holds all the cards, guys. There's a joke here, and I'm not going to make it. But they hold all the cards, okay? And they make the rules. So thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below, especially if you disagree. I would love to know. And I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.